Hello, this is Miguel Barroso. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to my next tutorial on how to UV unwrap these simple pipe designs and how to add bump mapping textures to your objects. Hopefully this will be as quick as possible. I will model the pipes quickly, add the ground and some quick lighting. Let's get it started. Screen. Cursor to center. We're going to add a cylinder. 32, and I don't want any caps. I've already taken that off. Okay. I'm going to size that on the z-axis by 8, 5, and I'm going to rotate it y-axis by 90. Okay. Go into edit mode. I want to highlight the outer edges. I always forget to hit that. Box select. Okay. Now we're going to extrude, return, size, right about there. Extrude on the x-axis, right about there. And then extrude, enter. And S to size it down right about there. There we go. Now, let's select edges. And I want to select all 4 of these circular edges. We got 1, 2. The whole time I'm holding in Shift and Alt when I go to right click. Okay, so all 4 of those edges are selected, so you can see. Okay. Control E. And I'm going to mark sharp. Okay, simple. So far so good. And let's go into top mode. I'm going to select this middle edge here. And I was hitting Shift Alt to hit, in essence, the line all the way through the center. Control A. Excuse me. Control E. And I'm going to mark seam, so when we go to the UV unwrapping, it'll come apart. It'll be easier to have 2 separate sections to manipulate. I'm going to get out of that and go into object mode and go into smooth. Since we put in those marked sharp edges, they didn't get smoothed over. Okay, we're going to go move right into the UV unwrapping. Excuse me. There we go. I'm going to add a texture. Let's call it, I'm sorry, we're in Blender. Let's go to Cycles Render, Use Nodes. And we're going to call this S, Rusty Pipe. Alright, Diffuse. Go to Images, Open. Again, I get most of my images from cgtextures.com. It's free, 15 megabytes a day, if memory serves me right. You can sign up if you need more and pay them a couple shekels. Alright, this is what I'm looking for. Rusty Paint 0166-7, and then some other stuff. Oh, S. There we go. Open image. Alright, I'm going to open up another screen. Excuse me. And a UV image. Alright, take this, Rusty Paint. Alright. Now here, I'm going to go into edit mode, select all, oh, excuse me, you know what I didn't do? If you hit Control A after you've sized an item, or after you've sized an object, you'll be able to scale it all down. If you don't do that, I'm not going to show it off. I want you to see something here. There we go. See the dimensions? Scale. Z is 8. So again, if I go Control A, scale, now it's all 1. That does help when you're unwrapping things and simply sizing them and whatnot. So anyway, U, unwrap. That's not what I want. There's a lot of different options. There's smart UV projection. Sometimes that works, not for this purpose here. I went through several of them. Cylinder projection works out pretty well sometimes, not here to my liking. So what I'm going to do instead is projection from view bounds. This I found to have worked the best. Okay. Right off the back, it comes out looking very good. I'm going to add some quick lighting because I forgot to have that set up. Excuse me. All right. I see this middle part right here. It looks like it's stretched. Let's just double check it because it was like that last time. All right. So as a guide, whoop. Now we're talking. Okay. Let me get that off. So this middle line here. And you want to check off right there. Okay. So this top line and that one there, let's see where that one is. They're right on top of each other. So let me click this one and hit G for grab and I think X axis. No, G for grab, Y axis. Alright. That should have cleaned up that problem. Actually, we should bring it up just a little bit higher. Right there. Still on it? G, Y. There you go. So let's see if that cleaned that up. Rendered. Much better. Much better. Now another area that we're going to have to work on is when you look here. Whoop. Right there. It's terrible. They stretched out the image. So let's do this. Alright. Click that edge. I'm going to do Shift Alt right click. So get that whole circle. It's highlighted there. G for grab. Okay. On the X axis, right about there. I'm going to do the same for, whoops, excuse me, this inside loop. Again, it's not going to make it perfect, but it's going to look a lot better than what it was. Right there should be fine. So let's see how this looks afterwards. Better, not perfect. But again, this is just showing you the idea on how to get this done. All right. And I'm going to pause for a second and just adjust the lighting because the lighting is atrocious. If you'll excuse me, we're going to pause this. Okay, so now what I want to do is get to the bump mapping. All right. So to do that, we're going to go into nodes. Let me just join this screen here and raise that up. Okay. Node editor. Alright, it's actually really simple. All we're going to be doing is adding a color mix shader, and we're going to mix node, I should say. We're going to change that mix to multiply. Okay. And we're going to run the color from the image into the bottom color 2, and then the output is going to go into displacement. All right. Now let me get this in this view here so we can see what we're doing. First, I'm going to have it at 1 so you'll see the difference. Okay. All right. And the lighting's just not working for me today, so I'm sorry. All right. You can see how dramatic that bump mapping is. So we're going to lower that down to 0.07. Alright. Let's take a look from this angle. Anyway, this might be a little bit easier. Alright, and again we're going to bring this up 0.5. See the difference? Right. And again, you're just going to play with it until you find what you find is appropriate. For the original picture, what I had was 0.3, and that's where we were. And that's that. That's really all you need to do for bump mapping. You create a material. All you do is you add from the color tab, again just to show you, the mix node, you change that to multiply, color into color 2, color out to displacement, and you just change your factor. Simple as that. Alright, now what we did is before we also had some smaller pipes. I'm going to duplicate this by Shift D. On the y-axis, move this over, S and 0.5. Really simple. And alright, I'm going to box select this back end. And we're going to drag that out to about there. And since we already have this work done, we can duplicate it onto the next object, or the next material I should say. So again, first material was S rusty pipes. Look at this little plus button. Okay, so now I can change this to just rust. Anything I do here to this material will do nothing to the original material. So now what I'm going to do is, again, under Material tab, Images, I'm going to go to the folder and just select the image texture that I want to use for that second series of pipes. And that is this model. Excuse me, this picture. Alright, now let's see how this looks. Excuse me, you need to UV unwrap it. Hit U. Let me just click down here. UV image. And everything should be exactly as it was from the original unwrap. Now let's see how that looks. Alright, so I want to select the back end here and back that up. Right. Let's see. A little bit more. G. And on the x-axis. Looked really compressed earlier. Let's see what we're looking at. Let's take a look at that. Here it's really easy to see that bump mapping. The bump mapping is extreme here. We don't need that. Hang on. Alright, the computer's acting a little wonky. I'm going to go to Nodes. Alright, so sorry, 0.1. You can even go less. Excuse me, 0.05. Just a tad. It looked like Freddy Krueger's skin for a minute. Alright, that looks better. On the original picture that I had, I modeled little nuts. I'll show you how to do that right quick in a moment. I'm just going to put these all down to show you what I did. So I'm going to just duplicate this y-axis and duplicate it again, y-axis, duplicate again, y-axis, and just back that up. In the original picture, it looked something to this effect. We're going to render this. You know what we forgot to add was the floor. So let's do this. Alright, real quick. And I'll show you a little tip. Cursor to center. And that's Shift S, cursor to center. And we're going to add an image as a plane. And that's an add-on. If you don't have that, under File, User Preference, Add-ons, just start typing in plane. And this will come up. Check that off. Again, File, Import, Import image as plane. Textures. Alright, it was this one. Alright. It comes in tiny. Size it up. Let's see. So S3. Now we're talking. Alright. And it needs to be lowered. Really simple. To do the bump mapping again, we'll go into Node, Shift A, Color, Mix, change that to Multiply, Color to Color 2, Color to Displacement. And the other, on the finished image, I had a gloss texture added also. Excuse me, shader. So under gloss, roughness was 0.8. I wanted just a little bit of gloss to show up. Shift A, under a shader, mix shader. Check that off there. And drag this down to be the top. And I'll automatically pop to the bottom, and then 0.9. And I'll show you. Under render, and there's going to be just a little bit of gloss. If I have this down to, let's say, 0, it's going to be a mirror. Alright, so 0.9, just a little bit of gloss on the floor. And that's what we were looking for. So that's that. And, excuse me. Okay, now just to show you what I did for the nuts on the tips of the pipe. Go to Z. Alright. This is what I did. It was really simple. Shift A. I'm going to add a cylinder. T. I'll bring this down to 5. Okay. I'm going to rotate this on the y-axis by 90 degrees, and I just shrunk it down. Small as you can. Alright. A little bit more. And it needs to be a little bit smaller. Okay. So, what I did is I G for grab, Z, and I UV unwrap that. Again, I'll just do it real quick. I go silver rust, UV editor. We'll get the right image. Oh, and I gotta add a face to that. That's what I forgot. Click an edge, Shift, Alt, or actually, Alt and right click. We'll click all those. F, we'll give it a face now. Control A, scale it down. Edit mode, U to unwrap. And this, it doesn't really matter because it's so small, no one's going to see the details. Then just shrink this down to like absolutely nothing. Maybe even less. Okay, that's what I did. Sorry about that. Alright, with this selected, I'm going to hit Shift D on the Z axis, drag it down to here. We're going to rotate it. Alright, and then highlight the top one. Shift D to select both. R for rotate. We're going to click all 4. Oh, all 4 of them. Shift D, rotate. And that's what I did. You know, then you can fiddle it and put it exactly where you want it. So it's really simple. And before I hit the pipe and Control J to make it all one object, I shrunk it down a bit and put it on the other pipe and just duplicated those pipes. Very simple. So that's it in a nutshell. How to UV unwrap and bump map. That's the finished results. Hopefully it was simple. Excuse me, and I did forget to mention, for the camera, I used a little f-stop action. I think I brought it down to 1, and I focused it on this pipe here, and added some lighting. Made the actual world pretty dark to create this effect. Hopefully you liked this video and you learned a little something. And again, if you did, give me a thumbs up, and I'd love if you subscribed. Have a great day. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye.